You had several songs through soundtracks and different things too at that time. The
Hmm.
Sandra St. Victor's Chocolate, the Ice Cube on Dangerous Ground, Keep on Pushing, and the Half Baked Flying. So uh, the Half Baked I know was on MCA, but how were you getting a lot of these opportunities? Was it because of 5 o'clock? Was it because you were just hustling? Like what was happening to where these things were coming to you or you were getting them?
It was because I'm a dope MC, Soren. That's why I was coming. I mean, 5 o'clock was doing what it was doing. And lyrically, I mean, I'm not gonna front of myself. Lyrically, I'm dope. I'm dope, I'm a dope writer. So
That's why you're
that's
here.
yeah, so that's one reason why it was coming. I mean, the Keep on Pushing record was so I was like super excited. None of us did that record together. None of us on that record, Yo Yo, myself, or Bahamadia, none of us was in the same room, but the body of work was really dope, to be invited to be a part of that record, so that's it was the label. It was the label. The crazy thing is that, there were so many things coming at me. Like I remember Clef when Destiny's Child came, and Clef was beginning to write for Destiny's Child. And they were like, nah, it's a new group coming. It's Destiny's Child. Clef was working on it right now, but blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I didn't write on that. That would have been terrific. But, those were the type of things that were, coming across because, they knew that I could write.
Wow, that's crazy. Now with Keep on Pushing, you weren't in the same room, but did you get, I know, didn't Pete Rock produce that? So did you get to do anything with him at all or no? It was all
Nope,
remote.
the track was sent to me and
Oh, wow.
wrote the track. Yep, sent it in. Yeah,
Hmm. Okay.
yeah,
And then the Half Baked was a little different sonically and stuff, Tom Tom Club, different things. Did
yeah.
did you find that even chocolate too, but did you find with flying you reached into different areas and avenues, or did it not make too much impact outside of the rap stuff, normal rap?
Yeah, so that record was very interesting because You Looking Good to Me is on the Half Baked album as well. And so when they said working with the Tom Tom Club, I was like, what? Because I love Tricky. Oh man, I was what? So we were in there working on that record for hours. I wrote my part. And when I came back, the record sound completely different. It sounded like it sounds now, which I love the record. And, I was, totally excited about how it sounded before I left, but they came in and, well, not came in, but they kept working on it. And when I got back, the record sounded like it sounds now, which I still love the record because it is something so different and so creative. And it's the Tom Tom Club. Come on. So I was, yeah, so the lyrically what I wrote and on there is still, in my lane. But the sound came from them.
Hmm. Okay. And
Hmm.
then so you got all these things, you're on the radio and you're doing for all non-believers. And I remember I still have my advanced cassette from MCA Records, so I'm thankful for that. But I do remember, and people can listen to it on their DSPs, Spotify, etc., wherever they get their music. But I do remember on the intro, it really standing out to me that they're talking about business and your business mind and how you were focused on business and people are going to see that and they're not worried about you because of the business. So at the time, why did you say that? And looking back, did that prove prescient or how did that work over time?
Because as a young artist, new artist, and I still didn't learn, because the business constantly changes. But early on, I got that it was a business. I got that wake up call, and you get that wake up call for several different reasons. One, early on, I had great people around me who said, "Look, you need a competent accountant, and then you need an accountant that can, do an audit on your accountant." All of my money stayed in the bank. I paid, I didn't go out and buy a whole bunch of stuff. I had some things, but everything came through, my accountant. I learned that very, very early on. And luckily for me, during the time of trying to figure out the label, trying to figure out what they want to do, I was able to still maneuver in my space via the monies that's coming in and being mindful of my spending and that sort of thing. Was I the best at it? I'm not the best, but I was mindful as a young person with a lot of money. And that also came from my parents, because my parents, my dad was very, very hard on me early on when it comes to credit and that sort of thing. He actually was like, yeah, get a credit card. Sure, I'll give you one. He gave it to me. And then the next month he gave, of all things, an American Express. He was like, absolutely, here's your American Express. Sure. So I'm thinking credit, you can pay it off. No, American, we're at the end of the month. Where's the money? So I learned that really early on from my parents. So getting money and being mindful of the business, was something that I already, was in my head. But again, like I said, I had really good people in my corner and was like, "Non, let's get you connected with these people, this accountant, this blah, blah, blah. So pay your taxes up front, you're going to get this money, pay the taxes on the money up front. Don't pay. Yeah, that whole thing. So the business, on the second record, I'm mindful of it even more so than I was on the first record. And there are still things that happen as a new artist, as things that get through the cracks for anybody. You're not going to be spot on with everything, but as long as you do understand that it is a business. So when it's not friendship, it's not we're going to do this out of love. This is happening because people have spent money and they need you to make the money back, and you want to make money for yourself. That's why all of this is happening.
People forget it's the music business.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Absolutely.
they're equally important.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the now on the re-release or the actual release of For All Non-Believers? It's Aralac, or how do you pronounce the company that you have or that you put it out on?
It's my mom's name backwards. Her name is Clara. So yeah, so it's my mom's name backwards. So Aralek. So yeah, I just released it. I just made sure everybody got, if they're registered or what have you, if they're somewhere out there, then they will find you and send you your money, or it will be sitting someplace for you to get it. But the most important thing for me releasing that was just to get it out, just so for the fans that love me, continue to support me, and new fans that find me, it was something that they could hear and say, oh wow, I didn't even know that this was, she had this. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, People Time, of course, is also on For All Non-Believers with KRS-One. And that uh, one of the things I really enjoyed about it is in the beginning, especially, or throughout the song, but you guys do a lot of like tag team type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And if I remember correctly, he also produced the song. So,
So yeah, no, go ahead, sorry.
go ahead.
No, so what we found out, Pete Rock may have produced that record. So there's a question, because how the record came to me was it was sent to me via back in the day. I think I got a CD of the track. And Chris and I actually went into studio. I had never met him before ever. Of course, he's KRS-One, so it's KRS-One. So they're like, he's like, let's just meet and like try to write this record, because I can't think of anything either, right? That's what he's saying. I can't think of anything. So let's just meet, write this record. So I go in, and he's just like he just known me all my life, hey, just totally ease my mind. And he is just, really coming up with stuff off the top of his head, just saying lines. And eventually the record comes about, and it is the tag team, and let's go back and forth. And it was just phenomenal making the record, because, you go in not thinking anything bad about somebody, but it's still KRS-One. You go in, you're nervous, and then he puts your mind at ease, and you come out with this record where you have actually intertwined yourself with this dope MC, line for line, that sort of thing. So, it's just like, keeping up with, a track star. Like I kept up with the track star. So, in the concept, the people time, and people need people, and people without people will cease to be people. It's just his whole, I mean, it's KRS-One. I ain't even got to keep going on. So, but where the track came from, that's the question, because I was told that KRS-One produced the record. So we're actually trying to see, was it Pete Rock or KRS-One? But we've contacted the both of them, so we're figuring it out. Somebody's gonna get some publishing. So yeah.
Well, good for whoever or both.
Right, exactly.
But also on People Time in the chorus, you talk about thank you for not selling crack and all these different things. So
Mm.
that's a, at least from my way of thinking, an interesting or unusual thing to thank people for. So do you remember how the genesis of that, how you came to say it in that way?
That's KRS-One. That's
Hmm.
KRS-One. So he said, "Now thank you I want to thank you for not smoking crack and keeping your mind on track." Because it's just it's the, it's it's put in a funny way. It's kind of, you know what I mean, like kind of the iron, well, not the irony, but kind of joking, like, I want to thank you for not doing the wrong thing, but for real, I want to thank you because there's we have so many pitfalls, we have so many things that we can fall into. So I really want to thank you, for not smoking crack, for keeping your mind. I want to thank you for putting down the gats, to keep your, what I'm saying? Because it's so much that we can go into. So I really thank you for not having a stress about you doing it. You know what I mean? So that's all KRS-One though. It's the lighthearted message that hits so hard. You know what I mean? It's lighthearted, but it's really a hard message to send. And I love the fact that how he he set that up that way, so it's not preachy. You know what I mean? It's not a preachy, you know what I mean? You singing right along, but yeah, exactly. And
Mhm.
it's kind of the same thing that 5 o'clock did. What a lot of people said happened to them is that, they loved that record in the club so much because it hit so hard. But once they got in the car and really listened to the records, listened to the lyrics, it was like, dang, she was really, she was really saying something on this record. So yeah, but at the same time, yeah, she's saying something.
Absolutely.